speak as though I have conquered death. I live death every day. I am surrounded by it, smothered by it. Look at you now. He would have everlasting life. You seek to defy death, yet you cannot even defy sleep. And how alike sleep is to death. It is a painted death.
My wife, she's missing. I fear terribly for her safety.
Some women are just looking for a reason to go missing.
She disappeared into the Ahedar Desert, the heart of the Whispering Waste.
As suicides go, it has an exotic appeal.
I fear she has returned to my former mansion. If you would track her, find her, bring her home.
You'd pay me in sad looks and liquor?
The mansion was never reclaimed by the tax collectors. Dark rumors swirl amid the whispering winds. Land leviathans maroon amid the dunes in cataclysms past. If my vault is untouched, its entire contents, the wealth of 5 noble generations, are yours.
You had your openers and closers reversed.
I should warn you, Sir Thief, or Nachtin the boards call it. The dead citadel. Worse still, the Whispering Wastes do not lie empty. Rumors swirl of a figure, stooped and shrouded in grey, face hidden, dragging a silver blade at his side, carving his way through the criminal element of 2 entire countries. None have divined its purpose, and it has only ever spoken one word, one most would not even recognize as a name.
I remember childhood without any friends. Just me and my imagination. So I made up my own friend. Crim's my best bud. I don't know what I'd do without him. But there's some things we should keep locked away. Not the imaginary friends, but the imaginary fiends. Crim, where are you?
Nosfero. Does this word not sound like the death bird culling the living dead at dawn? It is the name both ghouls and demons dare not say, for they know it means death for the undead.
Hello everybody and welcome to Friday Night Figure Sketching. I am Shanth Enjeti. I am here with the lovely and talented Mrs. E.
Hello.
And we are going to be doing some drawing tonight. I want to say hi to all of our channel members in the chat. We're going to be having a good time. I'm actually working on some sketches for Nosfero 2 and working on some story ideas. I had a big story breakthrough today. And Mrs. Enjeti is going to be doing her amazing, crazy art thing over there with some mixed media stuff. And I'm looking forward to seeing what she does there. So let me see who we've got in the chat. So let's see. Oh my gosh, got to scroll all the way up. Thank you guys for being here on a Friday night. I appreciate it. We are glad you're here. John was here. Absolutely. You were first, John. Thank you for being here, my friend. It is great to see you. Joe Mello saying hello to everybody here. Channel member Steven Rockwood in the house. The Alpha, the Omega. It is great to see you, brother. Let's see. We've got channel member Cranberry Langers in the house. My goodness. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being a channel member, Cranberry Langers. It is great to have you in the house with us. Let me see here. Who else have I got? I've got Tammy A in the chat. Channel member Tammy A. Welcome. It is great to see you here. We've got Citizen Ronan in the house. It's great to see you, Citizen Ronan. We've got Aetherline here. It is great to see you. Ahoy to you, my friend. We have got the one, the only, the amazing Snuggy Jr. in the chat. What is up? It is great to see you, my friend. I hope you are doing very well this fine evening. Let's see who else. I feel like I saw a couple other people here coming in. Let me just make sure. We've got Fritz Schnitzel in the house. It is great to see you. Klaatu, Barada, Niktu, greetings, Earthlings. Absolutely right. That is what you have to say if you want to save the planet. That's what you got to tell Gort. Everybody knows it. Fritz Schnitzel knows it. Fritzy Schnitzel, I should say. Excuse me for pronouncing that wrong. Shame on me. Let me see who else we've got in the house here. Did I miss anybody else? We've got Ellie Munoz, channel member Ellie Munoz. It is great to have you here, my friend. Hail Night Waffles, indeed. And yes, guys, I saw a bunch of you guys talking about that. The Max series was awesome on MTV. I remember that well. I was a big Sam Keith fan. I didn't even realize at the time that he was making a lot of references to Frank Frazetta. We've got my main man, my can of spam. It's all about money. Phil Diaz of Zaid Comics. Yo, how are you doing, brother? It's great to see you. I love playing that trailer for Lost Pages 3 at the start of the stream, guys. We've got Meltdown 14 in the house. Hello, new guy here. Well, new guy, you are welcome. And you know what? I'm going to do something special for you, new guy, since you're here. I'm going to welcome you to the chat. With our traditional cheerleaders that we usually reserve for Super Chats, but by God, I think you're going to get it. Charge! There you go, new guy. I hope you feel welcomed and loved. There is Hostman Socrates. It is great to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Got off Friday Night Tights for Friday Night Sketch. Excellent. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're going to go head-to-head with Friday Night Tights. And hail to those guys over at Friday Night Tights. I heard that they're going to be launching, I don't know when, what day it is, but RAZÖRFIST is going to be doing a Western comic, which he just announced. He's been talking about, but I think he kind of officially announced it, and I think he's going to be talking about it more or launching it at one of the Friday Night Tights, but I'm not sure which one it's going to be. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm very excited. You are very welcome, Meltdown. We love doing this kind of stuff. Woohoo! Nosfero 2, indeed. And that's the cool thing, right? So I spent all day working on pages of Nosfero that I have off to the side that you guys can't see. And now I'm starting to get to the point to where I get to play around with things and get to play around with various story concepts. So the thing that I'm doing right now is I'm working out some of the character names and some of the character traits that are going to be a part of this book. And one of the characters is Holly Gellhorn. She's a character that's going to be in the second book. The last name may sound kind of hilarious, but it's actually from the Hammer horror movie Twins of Evil. So I'm using the last name from that just as a nod to the Collinson twins. One of the Collinson twins is the basis for Holly, just like Madeline Smith is the basis for Laurel on some levels. I mean, everything kind of gets walked through whatever my generic sort of character is, and then I'm sure there's notes of the misses here in a lot of the characters I draw. She says, the Headless Woodsman. Yeah, she wears a lot more clothes than these characters, though, just so everybody... Most of the time, that's right. Oh my goodness. So here we go. Lord. So yeah, so I'm working on this character, and I had this big breakthrough on the story today, which was, I realized that there's, the character of, well, this character right here is in many ways a character that is going to be, as he evolves, he's going to be very Swamp Thing-like. And in terms of just the kind of, you know, more fiend kind of like crazy creature. But I started thinking about how I could approach that character differently, because everybody has an idea for, you know, those types of characters. But I actually decided to turn things on their head a little bit. So it ends up being a little bit more, I don't want to say it ends up being a little bit more of a twist, but my character is going to be a little bit less sympathetic, and it's going to be a really interesting adventure story. So we're going to see where it goes. And yeah, Swamp Thing is cool. The aesthetics of Swamp Thing are incredible. Hail to Mr. and Mrs. Shanth, says Hostman Socrates. Thank you so much. Hail to you, my friend. Let's see here. A Western comic by RAZÖRFIST. Somebody pinch me. I said the same thing to him. I said, my wallet is ready. No, really? Can Mrs. Enjeti not afford blank paper? It's what it is. She's dealing with a lot of...
Because he's using it all up.
I'm using it all up. That's what it is. It's so unfair. Looking forward to Mrs. Enjeti's art and yours. Thank you so much, Cranberry Langers. Much love. Yeah, Swamp Thing. I will tell you guys this. What I want to come up with when I'm doing this stuff is... It's sort of like I take the Hammer horror approach, where Swamp Thing is kind of a sympathetic monster. You know, he's kind of a sympathetic monster. And I've been thinking about the fact that I think that unfortunately, when we make our monsters too sympathetic, or make all of them sympathetic, it kind of robs the monster of its power. You know what I mean? It's the idea of making characters creepy and not benevolent, and making monsters creepy and not benevolent, is something that we've kind of gotten away from. And I really wanted to kind of play around with that with this, and just kind of explore it. And even though I haven't seen the movie, Mrs. Enjeti was talking to me about a movie. What was the movie called?
The scary one?
Yes, that one.
The Ritual.
The Ritual. And it was so amazing to me because one of the themes that I've been thinking a lot about lately in terms of storytelling and in terms of what we're doing is this idea of, nature at the expense of people, nature at the expense of humanity, which is a very, odd perspective that a lot of people have, not seeing human beings as a part of nature, for starters. And so one of the things I was thinking about is, when you read a story like The Call of Cthulhu, and you hear about the kind of swamp, bog, cults, that are in the bayou, or in this case would be more like in the, I don't want to say in the swamps as much as maybe in the, like the mire. I always think of the Grimpen Mire when I'm doing this kind of stuff. Okay, let's see. Oh, rest in peace, Wes Craven. No, the director of Swamp Thing. Yeah, I know. Oh, that's heartbreaking, man. Yeah, like the Shadow Self the animalistic side of man, yeah. And I always love the fact that when Alan Moore's run on Swamp Thing is my jam. Yeah, there's so much great Swamp Thing work done. Yes, indeed. Yeah, rest in peace, indeed. I mean, I would say this is that we've had so many creators and filmmakers that have come out of seemingly nowhere, in the sense of they weren't, they created pop culture icons for us. And as we lose them, we have to strive all the much more in order to make, in order to basically make pop culture live again, Yeah, I have no idea what Shanth Sketch is about. You won't for a while. Ethan talking about the Iron Age on Timcast. Oh, we did? That's awesome. He was on Timcast. That's awesome. I'm so glad he's getting out there and doing that stuff. I mean, not that he's been not getting out there, but that is great, man. That is great. And I know RAZÖRFIST was on a show the other day that I think played. I'll check back. I'm in Cleveland now, visiting my mom. Well, say hi to your mom for me, Tamier, and thank you again for being a channel member. Ethan on Timcast? ? Says Cranberry Langers. There you go. Let's get some F's in the chat for Wes. Yeah, absolutely. For Wes Craven, some F's in the chat. Yeah. It's I will say this. There's so many creators in the horror genre and people who have given us so much and so many interesting things. And they're the folks that inspire me. And I think it's always time for a new generation of artists and a new generation of fans to spotlight the stuff they're into, because it doesn't come from the top down, and it never has. It's always been from the people who love artwork and who have been fans of all this stuff for so long. So it's, for me, that's the thing that sort of excites me when I go to do my work every day, is how do I... what's sort of funny is I was just thinking when someone says I have no idea what Shanth's painting, Shanth has no idea what he's painting at this stage, so don't feel alone. At this stage when I'm doing sketches, I'm actually just kind of making shapes, and I might have a little bit of an idea of what I'm doing, but it's just, where's it going to go? Where is it going to go, and how do I put this stuff, into some kind of, meaningful, or interesting form that seems intimidating? Because up until now, I think I fell into the trap of, you love things like Swamp Thing. Say hey to your mom for me, Biff Tannen. That's right, God, he is Biff was such an oily character, man. I don't think Aaron Sorkin is going to be around much longer either. Yeah, I mean, there's so many amazing producers and creators. Oh, it started at 8 p.m., I think. Very cool. Oh, so he's on it right now? He's on Timcast? That's crazy. Yeah, indeed. Let's see here. You have a whole universe to create, Shanth. Yes, I do, and it is a wonderful feeling, We are in this together. We're absolutely in this together. We're just in the maze. Yeah, all these new creators making stuff has inspired me to try something out there. I'm still in that process, but every day make progress. Yes. Well, you know what? The thing is that I think that the sort of... one of the cool things about living during the various indie booms, and if you're, at a certain age, you've seen a few of them. I haven't seen as many as some. But I just remember the black and white boom. I remember things like Love and Rockets, The Rocketeer, things like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, of course, and some of those great books that have kind of come out of... I feel like that just did something interesting right there.
But
just this weird mark I made. I don't know what it is, but who knows? You know how it is. We just look at these things and we're it's like, oh, what was that I just did? Or the paint just did. But I think that it's, I saw all these people, and it never dawned on me that, the mainstream industry was the only way. And that's a really good thing in terms of just starting with a broad kind of horizon in terms of what you're thinking of. So I just think, well, if I'm free and I'm independent, creatively, then I can come up with anything. I can come up with anything I really want to. And so that's been kind of that's the challenge of doing Nosfero. That's the challenge of doing independent work, is kind of letting yourself come up with things and without thinking about too much, and that's really a big thing. Well, let's see. Uncle E is on Tim Pool. Holy cow, that is crazy. Wow. That idea page looks really interesting. Did I click on the right one? Yeah. Gets me looking forward to the next book. Yeah. It's, for me, Biffy Tannen became a good painter in his own right, but the majority of his work was burned down in a fire. There you go.
Wow.
Oh my god, jeez. Let me see here. Yeah, that is tragic, absolutely. HK47, pass. Oh, he's talking about, yeah. It's an interesting thing because I think that, as far as, coming up with stuff, the whole originality thing is a part of, you try to come up with something that's fresh and interesting. But I've often thought that so much of the stuff that interests me anyway is stuff that sort of harkens back to, pop culture that's kind of been forgotten or pop culture that you don't see as much of. And I guess I've been really inspired lately by a lot of the, Ray Harryhausen, stop motion animation, the creature effects of the great 80s and late 70s, creature effects boom of Rick Baker and Rob Bottin and Stan Winston and all of those guys. They just did such incredible work. Hell, I was even looking at a making of behind the scenes video from Child's Play and my mind was blown. And it's just, it's like a forest down there. You guys are killing me, man. Let's see here. Purple is always a good choice. John knows he's got purple as icon. Yes, thank you, Snuggies Jr. Yeah, I mean, it's, we're having fun here, man. Paulus Arts, it's great to see you. Hello, how are you doing? But I want to make stuff that's kind of haunting and bringing you into sort of a creepy world. And, Lovecraft did such a brilliant job. And I promise you, like, this week, I need to go and visit Lovecraft's gravesite, get some Indian food, there's a lot of great Indian restaurants near his gravesite, oddly. Don't know if Lovecraft would have eaten it, but, but it was, it's just amazing to think about going over there, because I've been in this area since 1994. I've been in this area, and I have never been to Lovecraft's grave. I just never really thought about it. I've been almost everywhere else he talked about. I've been all the areas he lived, but I've never been over to Swan Point Cemetery, so that's what I'm going to try to do.
We never did that.
Isn't that strange? It's also got the grave, Swan Point Cemetery, of one of the people I read about and was really touched by in Civil War history, which is Sullivan Ballou, who wrote the famous letter. He was killed at the first battle of Bull Run, and he wrote this letter about what he wanted his wife to think about if he died, and it's considered to be one of the most romantic letters ever written. So tip of the hat to Sullivan Ballou, and I want to visit his gravesite as well because it's right over there. Incredible the amount of history in this country. Wherever you are and whatever country you're in, there's always history to go and engage with. And to I like when the folks over at have you tried to insert Manscaped product there? Yeah. Let me see here. I was trying to freehand doodle today. I managed an ugly golf club and a Charlie Brown hand. Listen, it's always good to just follow whatever you want to do. Yeah. I started writing in a journal, and Mrs. Enjeti can tell you, I had never written a journal before, and I filled 5 or 6 of them. Try stuff every now and again. I was talking on an earlier stream about you and knitting when you found that. I mean, it's just crazy town.
I always used to think, I'd look at other people doing it, and I'd say, that's impossible. It's magic. Nobody can do that.
Yep.
I'd never be able to learn that. That's what I said. But now I knit sweaters and everything. So.
You watch TV while you do it, which hurts my head.
Yep.
I can't, I can watch a chat and paint, but I cannot watch TV and knit. It's weird. I can watch TV and paint, but I'm sorry. There's something about knitting. I love that John Townsend is afraid of knitting as a concept. He's like, one day the magic spell will wear off and all of this string will fall apart as it's meant to. It's too funny. Let's see. Oh, wow. Maybe go visit Lovecraft's grave once your book is published. I'm being totally serious here. I'm going to leave a copy of my book. People leave things at Lovecraft's grave. I will absolutely be doing that. Is Mrs. E using a grease pencil on glossy paper? I know colored pencils don't work well on it. She is using a marker, a Prismacolor.
I'm using Prismacolor marker. I'm using Crayola twistable colored pencils and regular colored pencils.
Mighty Geek Studios goes, why is Mrs. Enjeti drawing golf shoes in the magazine? Because this is the thing. She goes to stores where there are magazines, she draws in them, and she puts them... No, I'm kidding. She doesn't do that.
So I'll tell you the story. Well,
Go ahead.
Kind of a story. So, I don't subscribe to Vogue magazine, but someone subscribes to Vogue magazine, and it gets sent to my house every month, and I didn't ask for it. So I just tear pages out and make them into stuff.
There you go.
That's what... I usually just take them to school and give them to my students.
Welcome, channel member Timmy Mello, by the way. You see, when life gives you Vogue magazine, make lemonade.
So for tonight, I am basically using this picture from the magazine as an inspiration and doing a mixed media piece on top of another page from the magazine.
Freedom.
I like texture.
That's right.
That's why I do what I do.
Yeah, it's funny
and
how...
I like to do things I've never, really experimented with before. So I've never done, or I can't remember doing colored pencil on magazine pages. So why not?
Why not, indeed.
This is what I'm always trying to get my students to do, so I should follow my own advice.
That's right. Well, you're pretty darn good at following your own advice, I'll tell you that much. Mrs. Enjeti's favorite phrase is begin with an open mind, and just to try to, attack things and put things together. And for me, that's what it is. We've got American Comics Company in the chat. You're always in good company when American Comics Company's in the house. Welcome, my friend. It is great to see you here. Good use of Vogue, says John. Yeah, Mrs. Enjeti is making some pop art a la Kirby. You're right, yeah, Jack Kirby. Hail, yeah, Jack Kirby.
I love pop art.
Oh, it's such cool stuff.
That's one of my favorites.
There you go. Everybody saying hello, hello. The text in the legs looks great, says Cranberry Langers.
Thanks.
There you go. Look at how great this group is. Shanth Enjeti art. Would tracing the art of the likes of Kenneth Roquefort and Michael Turner help me develop my own style? I would say, how do I word it? I would say drawing from anything and not tracing it, but drawing from it is the best way to train your hand. But here's what you got to make sure you're doing. Spend 90% of your time looking at the art and only, 10% of your time looking at what your hand is doing. Really take in the information. But whatever artists have something about themselves that you are inspired by, absolutely studying them is important. I went through a big phase in my youth where I was just trying to draw like people for a while. I tried to learn how to draw like Jeff Darrow. I tried to learn how to draw like Dave Stevens. And
Todd McFarlane.
Todd, oh, of course. Well, they know. Yeah, Todd was my hero. But you know what the crazy thing was? Try as I might, Todd has got his thing so nailed down. It was so much easier to draw from people who were more representational, like Dave Stevens. Like, I love Todd, and you can see that in my stuff, but it's crazy. Yes, let the creativity flow through you. Emperor Palpatine style. There you go. I'm here to serve. I've actually arrived here after doing some work on a commission for a client. I was working on something called Rail Crab and will not elaborate further. Well, all right then. I will take note.
We won't push you for an answer.
We won't push you. I wouldn't trace. I would try and copy it. Yeah, absolutely. On a separate paper. It helps develop those mirror neurons. Here's another one for you. That's a great point, Ellie. And I will tell you something that my friend who's a teacher discussed with me, and I think it's really true. Take a look at one of those drawings that you want to do, and then put it where you can't see it, and then try to draw from memory. It will make you look at it. And so let yourself look at it every 5 minutes or so, and then check to see what you're getting wrong, and check to see that you want to get out of it. But see what you can actually store in your head, because one of the things that our memory does, and why building your memory up, which is absolutely possible, is so important to being an artist, is that you start to have pictures in your head, or even pictures in your hand when you're working, of the things that you've seen, And that can
crazy. Be good and bad.
It can be, yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes you draw what you think you see, not what you actually see.
Yeah, that is true.
So I always tell my students to turn their work upside down, which I think works really well for them, because then they suddenly stop trying to draw the foot they think that is a foot in their head, and they actually draw the shape of the thing that's on the paper, or what's in front of them.
Well, I always tell my chat to turn their frowns upside down.
Well, that too.
Just like Lionel Playworld. Never forget those commercials, folks. I know I can't. Not knowing, but sounds pesky. Okay, let me see which thing that was a response thing I didn't see. Sorry.
You missed something.
I missed something. Thank you, American Comics coming to you too. Timmy Mello. Study, fix your eyes on an image and draw based on the observed image rather than trace. Michael Turner's art style was so well deserving to study and incorporate into a comic foundation. Absolutely. Rest in peace, Michael Turner. I don't know if you know Mrs. Enjeti, but he was a young guy who got the bone C word, and it was aggressive, and we lost him very young. Like, I think he was maybe in his 30s, early 30s or something. It was rough. And had a huge impact, and terrific guy, you know.
Just makes you remember to live every day to the fullest.
Absolutely right. And his influence has lasted on after him, which is beautiful, and I know his family and his spouse has kept it alive. You get influences coming through your hand that you're not trying to capture. Let me see here. I think I know what you mean, but I'm a little lost because my brain is pudding. I'm sitting upside down in my chair. Does that count? It does.
Yes.
Absolutely
totally
right.
Counts.
Oh crap! This is
Are you one of my high school students? That sounds like something they would say.
No, it's we're all high school students at heart here at
That's
Comics
true.
Gate in the Iron Age.
Me worst of all.
I was on a break at work in my car drawing a knight, but I was having a hard having a hard time with the hand holding the sword in a downward position. But I'm gonna try that upside down suggestion. Yes, it is a great suggestion.
Try that.
Yes. Life gave her Vogue, and she decided to start a fashion line. That's absolutely right. Forever 42, says John. Indeed. Rest in peace, Turner. Yes, Lady Mira, sorry, of Berserk, and the shining stars that have burned out. Absolutely, and yeah, it was tough. Kim Jung-ji, we've lost a lot of great artists, but I always say that some artists leave us such a legacy of work. It's just going to continue to inspire us and inspire what we do. You know, I think about Bernie Wrightson all the time, and I still haven't seen probably half of everything he's done, you know, during his life. And I'm getting whenever they do the second printing, the Frank Frazetta book. Mrs. Enjeti ordered that for me for Valentine's Day.
That should be soon.
Yeah.
They said March.
I actually went to their site recently, and it has changed to April. So I have
good stuff.
I have a feeling.
Yeah.
Well, because it's gotta be. I mean, supply chains and all that stuff are always a little iffy. However, there's stuff in there that people who are big time fans of his go, I've never seen this piece published before. And so there's always so much to learn, you know, from these artists. So much to learn. And so, yeah, Bernie Wrightson's still teaching me stuff, and I'm still learning a ton from him. Master of horror, and incredible artist.
Is my paper in an okay spot?
Yeah, I think
can't see the stream.
Your paper's in a great spot. I would say, let me just see here. No, you're good. You're good. Keep it where it was.
Okay.
But from here to here is on camera. So
Okay.
I actually...
And here?
Yes,
Okay.
where your hand is right now.
All right.
I actually changed our whole camera setup today so that I can do things. I'll show you some of the fun things I can do now. I can actually click on that and remove us so you see more of the art. So I've been working on just, you know what we do here, guys. I mean, we're independent creators and we're independent show producers, so we just got to make everything exciting, man. Yeah, absence makes the heart grow fonder, indeed. Yes, Kim Jong always makes me think North Korean dictators. No, this was a different Kim Jong. Shanth, what materials are you working with? I'm working on toned tan mixed media paper from Strathmore, and I'm working with Liquitex heavy body acrylics right now, just watered down so I can scribble with them. More art equals mo better. You're absolutely right, John. You're absolutely right. American Comics Company says, oh, always try freehand, but I'm thinking refinement, trace for comprehension, then just start over. Richness on the Madness Network, again, freehand. Yes. I think that that's something I used to have my students do when I was teaching was I would print out on Bristol paper Bernie Wrightson drawings as blue lines, and I would have them practice inking with a quill on them. And I can't overstate that. If I could give one bit of advice to anybody wanting to learn how to draw, it would be draw in traditional. Use traditional media to learn. It will... I've just got to say, I just don't think that people realize how much work the AI in Photoshop, even though people don't consider it AI art, does for you, and how much it just takes over for you. It's like having, in a weird way, spell check, and not learning how to spell because of it. I've used digital for a very long time, and the reason I can draw with a trackpad and make it expressive is because the AI is doing the work with custom brushes. And you really never get to see that immediate sort of feedback of your hand and the materials if you don't practice with traditional media. And that's really something I think a lot of people are missing out on. I don't know why that is. Yeah, Michael Turner is known for his beautiful women. Yes, the character of Fathom and Witchblade, just amazing, amazing talent. And artist, and just did a great body of work. Channel member Timmy Mello says Kim Jong-gi was another one, and besides his art, his mind and his revelation of image streaming and the science of hyper phantasia on vividly seeing images with your mind will be a true breakthrough. Yes, it is. It absolutely is. Yeah. Wisdom in those techniques. Amen. Yeah, no one drew the finer sex better than Turner. You're absolutely right. The finer sex. I like that. My medium of...
I like that.
Yes, indeed. Well, you fine. My medium of choice has been ink on paper, and I doubt that's going to change. Yeah. I mean, try different nibs, try, brushes. I love it. I'm stealing that, says John, the finer sex. There you go. That was Michael Turner. He did great work. Yes, he did. He did fantastic work. And, guys, this is the thing, too. A lot of times, the thing that I think I ran into for a little bit was I got so used to looking at the entertainment that was coming out that I stopped realizing that when I'm not impressed with or not inspired by the entertainment that's coming out right now, I can go back and there are so many movies and so many things I haven't seen yet or I can revisit. And I've been doing a lot of that lately. I've been watching a lot of classic movies for the first time. And that's just been a blast. Let's see if I can get that. There,
one thing that I'm always telling my students about, because I teach Photoshop and photography, is that Photoshop was invented as a resource to touch up movies and like individual frames in movies. Mm-hmm. At least that's what I was told.
Yeah, by Thomas and John Knoll. At ILM. Yep.
The names of all the tools in there, like dodge and burn and all that stuff, those are all photo darkroom terms. Mm-hmm. So, I think there's probably lots of people using Photoshop who have no idea why that tool is called that, or and it's all based on real things, like analog, not digital.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to know that, if you should definitely be customizing your brushes, but why does the brush look like that? Mm-hmm. You should take a real paintbrush and go across textured paper.
Yeah.
To see what creates those marks.
And
it'll make you a better artist in the end.
At the end of the day, too, you were the one who came in and looked at a bunch of student work when there was that heavy move to digital. And you said, what are you guys doing your work in? And they said various software. And you go, I guess that's why it all looks the same. And there is no... there's no getting around it, that in a way that we can't quite ever express. There's a sameness to digital, just like there was, unless you have really a great understanding of how to use the tool. There's a sameness to a lot of things you use in this world, and I think you get more. Yeah, you always find Pimp Shanth, says Reminders. Yeah, Witchblade and Batman, Superman, Apocalypse. I hear that over and over. We're his legacy. Everybody sings the praises of Batman, Superman, Apocalypse. I just did a rare ink wash earlier. Tricky, but fun to practice. Honest to God, practice is makes permanent, as they say. It's so important to do these things to get them into your brain. CG is very much entertaining. You're absolutely right. Really, I thought it was for still photography. Yeah, absolutely. Photoshop was for film.
It was for editing frames and film, so they didn't have to go in and hand paint out with actual paint.
That's right.
Each frame in a movie, they could. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine the tediousness of that job?
They hand painted lightsabers onto frames.
Dear God.
Which just makes you tired to think about. I still don't know how to create a custom brush. I use Clip now anyway. Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people... Clip Studio is pretty much industry standard now.
I mean, Photoshop wasn't invented as a painting tool.
Yeah.
I mean, only in the sense that it was for fixing...
Yeah, it was like an airbrushing tool, basically, right?
It was basically... to fix up movie still, like each frame in a movie to make.
And then it was
the
in
boom
the
mic came in, you'd go through and erase it out of every layer.
And then wasn't it in the magazine industry and things
And
like Vogue?
Then it started to be used to Photoshop things, basically, and that's when Photoshop became a verb.
When you got into and that's the funny thing. Think of all of the things that people used to painstakingly use Photoshop for that like auto filters and cameras can do in-house with AI.
Right.
Interestingly enough, I always think it's funny when people talk about AI art, they don't realize how much AI is affecting everything they're doing. It's everywhere, man. That's what the software is
now.
I
mean, it's not really new.
No, it's not.
And that AI art just looks like AI art. I mean, it's never going to look like humans did it.
And Timmy Mello says, come to think of it, our own very own Jimmy Reyes has the same eye for expressiveness as Turner had. Very good point. I still don't know how to create custom brushes. I got that one. For fans of free and open source software, there is GIMP. Absolutely. Unfortunate name, says John. Yes, agreed.
I think our son just downloaded that to try.
Oh, really? Very cool.
He didn't want to pay for Photoshop.
There you go. Everyone have a good night and God bless. Tomorrow is my Friday. My wife is visiting family in Texas for a week, so I am holding down the fort.
Texas.
All right, Joe
Shout
Mello.
out.
Yeah, shout out to Texas. And Joe Mello, you have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and God bless you, sir. We appreciate you being here. Those lightsabers looked better than what came after.
Yeah.
You're right, Cranberry Langers. Yeah, GIMP is GNU, which is, I think, the user, what is it, the open source licensed image manipulation program. Yes, indeed. Like Blender, absolutely. Yeah, good evening, Joe Mello, says Cranberry Langers. Stippling Vaughn says Photoshop put all the airbrush artists out of business. Yeah. Yes, it did. It's crazy to think about that right now. Absolutely, right? AI art is soulless, says Timmy Mello. Yeah, there's something... It's a strange phenomenon. I've always said that there's things that I would not do in traditional because digital does them so much better, guys. When you look at stuff like this, these crazy overlays, these are all done. There's a couple of scanned things, but this is all digital. You know, this is me working in digital, editing videos, so I am absolutely the furthest thing from somebody who is anti-digital.
Sure,
yeah,
no.
Blender is great, and Mrs. Enjeti's the same way.
Well, because I teach classes that are very digital.
Yes.
Photography, graphic design, 1 and 2. I teach art portfolio classes, and but I always tell my students whenever we do a project, I always bring the hand into it. So like right now we're designing fonts and typefaces in graphic design, but I make them draw first. We draw.
Yes.
We sit down and we sketch and we take notes, and it just adds this whole other thing. Like we just did a book cover project, and the rule of the project was we make the book cover on the computer because like we have the software to do it, but some part of it has to be made by your hand. So they had to collect a texture from somewhere, or draw something, or take a photograph themselves, or bring some little piece in that brings their own personal hand. And I tell you, these kids just blew it out of the water. I mean, people walking by the display case in the school were like, aren't those real books? Why are those on display? Like, they didn't understand. They thought they were real.
Yep.
And it was just such a great compliment to the students how much they had, succeeded in making something that looked like a real book cover. And I think part of that was because they brought the hand of their artist into it instead of just doing everything on the computer, because that's too slow. I mean, it's too not. I wouldn't say lazy, but it's too quick. It's like the easy way out, kind of.
Yeah. When it comes to my art, says Meltdown 14, when it comes to my art, I've used a variety of different tools. For black and white ink art forms, to all kinds of pen nibs, brushes to pens. It was related to inks I've at least used. So yeah, there's a lot of great inks out there. Blender can be high-end video editor too. Yeah, Blender's awesome. Yeah, there's a spark missing from AI art. Might be a soul. Well, yeah, these are all great points, guys. I think one of the things that I would say to anybody about this stuff is, fear none of this stuff. Just be aware of what it is and what it's used for, and like why it does what it does. So when I sit down and I do my work, I know what my digital work, can look like, and I can get, a feel of some of my stuff in it. But when I look at concept sculptors like Simon Lee, who does his sculptures by hand, and he's one of the biggest creature designers in the industry right now, worked on Pacific Rim, worked on the legendary Godzilla and King Kong films, and designed the rework of Ghidorah for those films. But he's an incredible artist, and he does unbelievable work, and he's, as we say in New England, he's wicked fast. And Simon Lee is he's just a genius, and there is something that happens in his work that you just, I don't know, he's got something.
When you brought up Godzilla, it made me think of Leslie Chambers.
Oh, I love Leslie.
I love him. He's
so great. Leslie's a great guy, and I totally get why he's taken time off from YouTubing. Totally. It's just so much. He wants to spend time with the family, go to Japan. But shout out to Leslie Chambers, Kaiju Reviews. What a great dude.
Such a great guy.
Love that guy, man. Terrific dude. So positive. It might be inspiration or the spirit, indeed. I love I love a lot of AI art, beautiful images, to be honest, but there is something. Yeah, like I said, I don't. I'm sure horse and buggy people were just as scared as cars too. Just try to roll with it. Well, you know what's so funny is there's so much to explore, and there's so much stuff to see. I always say that that every now and again, because so much of what we do is on devices, I always think it's fun to kind of get away from them when I do certain things. And I think that there's something about doing something tactile. I don't care if it's doing the dishes, if it's cleaning the house, if it's, doing anything. I know people who do blacksmithing and stuff like that. You can't get your work out there. Like, to me, there's no excuse for not understanding digital technology.
Oh, I love Photoshop. I tell my students I feel like Photoshop is like a personal friend of mine. I use it so much.
Yep.
But that being said, sometimes too much of a good thing. You know, you got to get away from it and go touch the ground.
Yeah, I said that once though, but I was like, I feel like Photoshop's a personal friend of mine, and then it unfriended me on Facebook, and I just haven't been the same.
That's so sad.
I haven't been the same.
It's a sad story.
Yeah, creating something in the world, indeed. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing, because I know when Carl Jung had his breakdown after he basically broke with Sigmund Freud and his little crew in society, he went down to the lake, some lake in Zurich, I forget what the name of it is, and he just started like building little stone structures and building little house things, and he had his big breakthrough. So there's something about, all of these, thousands of years of evolution, before we got to where we are right now, that we, the technology has not, it can't just evolve us as fast as it evolves, for lack of a better way of putting it.
I mean, we made it, so...
Yeah, we made it. It's a part of us. It's just, it's like a hand axe in a sense.
That's why I think AI art isn't really AI. It's not really AI art. It's like a computer program that's extrapolating from all of what humanity has already made.
Yeah, and it's been trained by people using Photoshop.
I don't see it as like this separate robot.
Yeah.
It's not really, in my opinion, but I mean, I don't know that much about AI, so probably just talking garbage, but
no, it's
I don't really care, because I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do.
Remember what SNL said?
What? The robots are gonna steal our medicine?
The robots steal old people's medicine, and when they grab you with those robot hands, you can't escape, because robots are very strong. They are. That's right. I don't know why the scientists even make them. That's my favorite bit. Yeah, I don't know why they make them. It's crazy. Hey, what's up, Hunch the Dirty Roofer, channel member Hunch the Dirty Roofer. Shanth, I hear you slamming screws for a few hours is cheaper than therapy. Hell, I'm actually paid for it. Hunch, I have to tell you, man, as Hunch the Dirty Roofer, you must be one of the busiest people in show business, because you're totally right. Yes, press F for Shanth being unfriended by Facebook. You're right. Yeah, creating something in the world. Yeah, Hunch, you're absolutely right. And it's like, talk to people, who are plumbers, and do any kind of work, electricians, roofers. Everybody I talk to says the same thing. I can't find people to do the work with hand skills, So Meltdown 14 says, and I've dabbled in acrylics, and I recently put paint to canvas after about a decade of not painting. Was surprised by the outcome. Drew a robot on a snowy plain. It now sits on one of my shelves. That is how you do it. That's how you do it. Timmy Mello says, I bit the bullet and paid for the complete $200 Clip Studio paint package. Wow. It's perfect for comics and manga art, but it's a steep hill to climb in mastering. Understood, but you know what? It starts that first step, yep. Timmy Mello. Congratulations, my friend. I love how CG has completely taken over Timcast's chat. All the memes and jokes. It's awesome. Yeah, well, that's the thing about us, right?
If he's going to have Ethan on.
If he's going to have Ethan on, he better be ready for that, man. We know what we're doing. We know what we're doing, you know? It's like, we've got our game down. I don't remember that skit. Oh my god, it is crazy. It is called Liberty Mutual Insurance, I think, with robot protection.
Yeah.
Sam Watterson is the pitchman. It's genius. It's whether the scientists could, but rather what? Yeah, it's not whether the scientists could, but rather whether they should. You're absolutely right, Timmy Mello. Let's see here. At Shanth Enjeti Art says, Hostman Socrates, the only people in danger of being replaced by AR are people without talent. So the entire DC and Marvel slate is DOA, and you and Comicsgate are safe. Thank you so much, Hostman Socrates. Yeah, I love making artwork, and I love, creating stuff, and I just think that there would be something just missing in the stuff I do if I didn't bring those kinds of the kind of hand done work to it. And I think there's not only do I enjoy doing it, but I appreciate the fact that there's a little bit of a novelty to it. I'm always shocked when people of the younger generations are so excited to watch traditional work get created.
No, they love it. My students, they would crave to do things that are real and not on the computer.
Well, when I came in to your school and was doing that painting, it was amazing to watch them realize it's not something you can't do. It's just as simple as you just get the right materials, you get the right stuff, and you need to have someone show you. Gosh, I mean, when you're teaching, we both have taught Photoshop and Illustrator to people. Mm-hmm. It's the same kind of learning curve, but just in a different way. Illustrator is insane. I've often said there is nothing better for the inside of the man than the outside of the horse. Ronald Reagan. Yeah, that's right. People who go horseback riding is absolutely true. The outside is very important, and people who love horses, it's the same thing. Getting out there and doing it, getting out there and riding. John, at John, then all the buggy people became taxi drivers, says Socrates. Yeah, that's cool. At Meltdown 14, Liberty Mutual Insurance with robot protection. You've got it, Cranberry Langers. Yes, let's see here. Critia is a Clip Studio alt, I think. There it is, says John. Very cool. HK47, laugh out loud, true, absolutely. Watching an artist is like watching magic. Yeah, I mean, Bob Ross, man, I talk about it every stream. It's like watching magic when I was a kid. I'd see that and I'd go, what are you doing? He'd go, and then you just go,
He just made me feel like so excited, like I could do it, Like I remember that moment sitting there watching his show on PBS that I suddenly went, that's something that I could do.
Yep.
Like,
and he wasn't telling you
really
you couldn't.
It made me feel like I could do it.
Yep.
And I couldn't do it at the time, but I felt like it was possible.
Yeah, I couldn't do it at the time, but I never felt the need to scream, Bob Ross, you lied to me. He made you feel like you could do it eventually.
Yeah.
That's what I love about Bob, man. He's the man.
Those paint colors going by on the screen way too fast, but...
I know. Isn't that crazy to think about? You could pause him now on YouTube.
Back then it was just, you either caught that or you didn't.
Yeah, but people frantically writing it down with Ben,
Our kids don't even understand that as a concept.
Oh, wow. Oh, snap. Ethan just shouted Irene and Fiendish 2 out. Very cool. Says Ellie Munoz. Shouted out. Oh, I knew what you meant. And Timmy Mello says, I have Critia as well at John, and they definitely have their differences. Okay, there you go. We're learning. Timmy Mello, I would imagine so. I'm not an artist, just a fan of open source. Right on. Me too. Just watched a bit of Bob Ross, says Cranberry Langers. Yeah, mind-bending. Fritzy Schnitzel says, you mentioned the horse and buggy earlier. Have you seen Orson Welles' The Magnificent Ambersons? I have not. A flawed but good film about changing times. I have not, but I'm a big fan of Orson Welles. I've been listening to his War of the Worlds before I go to sleep at night because I just think it's so incredible and it's so cool. I was watching a channel called Grim Life Collective. Shout out to Grim Life Collective. And they had they visited where was it in New Jersey?
Oh.
Shoot.
No, in Pennsylvania?
No, in New Jersey, the place with where they landed. I forget what the name of it was, but according to the radio show.
Oh, yeah, Morton's Corner. Or something?
Yeah, it was. Gosh, if somebody knows, but Grim Life, they visited where the supposed alien attack happened, and you think about it, that's a story that takes place in the UK. And when they adapted it, they made it happen in the States. And they really made that such an incredible show. But Orson Welles, man, he had another gear, man. He's quite a creative dude. Quite a creative dude. And he was like 23 when he did that. I still can't believe that.
It's all downhill from there.
It's all downhill. No, it wasn't. It was all buffet from there. That was the problem, man. The food is what got Orson.
Well,
dang it.
Here under protest is
beef burgers. That's right. We know a remote farm in Lincolnshire where Mrs. Buckley lives. Every July, peas grow there. Do you really mean that? Yes, Orson. If you could just, I mean, don't you want to say, have
maybe
the
nobody knows what you're talking about.
They probably don't. Actually, I think more people who follow my channel will know what the Orson Welles frozen peas commercials are. Maybe. It has to happen. Let me see here. Oh gosh, let me see if I can open this up. Yeah, oh shoot, where is it? Here it is. Hostman Socrates says, yeah, I love standing over an anvil, hammering away at a billet to make a knife. There you go. Let's see here. And I find myself enjoying sketching too. I'm not particularly good at either, though. Listen, I know so many people who say doing metal work and working with metal is good for the soul, and I agree. There's a gentleman who makes historically accurate swords that we were watching.
Oh, yeah.
Richard Furrer, I think is his name. And he did a Viking sword on Nova, and I just was amazed. Amazed by that stuff. Let me see here. Fritzy's opened a tab with it. I'll see if I can find it later. There you go. Hostman Socrates at Shanth Enjeti Art. Orson Welles' War of the Worlds convinced its audience New Jersey was actually being invaded by Martians. Yeah, I mean, this is a perfect example, right? This is what I'm running into with what I'm doing right now. It's everybody knows the story or was aware on some level of the story of War of the Worlds. But he made it new for a new audience. He made it new for the radio audience. And whenever we're looking at these characters, whether it's the Cthulhu mythos or the mythos of, great works in comic books, the thing that we can remember and the things that we should be thinking about is how do we do something that makes this new? Because Swamp Thing, as great as it is of its time. And I don't think that Swamp Thing ever needs to change. I don't think that any of these things need to, they'll evolve naturally, but I don't think they need to be, quote, reinvented. I have something completely different to say with that genre. You know what I mean? I'm addressing some things, at least for me, some narrative opportunities that wouldn't be good for Swamp Thing to address. It wouldn't make any sense. He's a much more sympathetic character. I'm not interested in making a sympathetic Swamp Thing character. That doesn't interest me.
I think reinvention by Hollywood is, for the most part, just
a disaster.
It's just a way of saying we don't have anything new to say.
Yeah, absolutely. But do you know your son's a witch? There you go. Let's see here. Orson Welles' War of the Worlds. Yes, indeed. Shanth, is your world set on Earth, or do you know? Yeah, I don't know. I absolutely don't know. Let me see here. Oh, is my world set on... it is set on Earth, but it's like... I guess it is kind of close to, in some senses, what R.E. Howard was doing with Conan. It's a bit like that. The AM channel would do old-time radio shows back in the 90s. I grew up knowing the stories of Dragnet, The Outer Limits from the 40s and 50s, better than TV shows. Oh, that's awesome. Was it Morristown, New Jersey? I think that's what it...
No, I don't think
was it Morristown?
Because I know where Morristown is, and I don't think that was it. It was...
okay.
It was 2 words. It was something like something corner or...
Yeah. What is it now? It's driving me crazy. Okay, here we go. Visiting the real... Oh, Grover's Mill.
Grover's Mill. I knew it was
Grover's Mill, New Jersey.
That's what it was.
Yes. Yeah, it's kind of like a Neither World. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it kind of is, Yeah, it's... let me see here. The Sir Isaac Newton found the mathematics field of calculus not for want of better math, but desire to study planets' orbits better. He was 24. Downhill from there, question mark? My God. Yeah, he was brilliant. Oh, okay. Shanth Enjeti Art. So it's a Neither World. Yeah, it's like it's what I love about Hammer horror. It feels like a period piece, but it's not a period or a place that ever really existed. It's almost like the Lovecraftian world takes place in a shadow New England. You know, like the places they refer to
Right.
don't exist. And if you were to travel to them, there would be other places there. But you have this feeling that they're there. You know what I mean? If Miskatonic University was real, everybody would know where it is because it's considered to be in the same class as like a Harvard at that time. And yet no such school exists, but it's real in our minds. It's just a part of Americana, you know? And I think that's the thing that's kind of exciting, these fictional towns. Yeah, love AM radio, especially with long-standing shows like Coast to Coast AM, absolutely. Right, fantasy version of Earth, absolutely. Yeah, it exists. It's kind of like it exists in this kind of permanent state of fall here. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's always fall in my world. It's never winter, it's never summer, it's never spring. It's almost like a little bit of Halloween Town in that sense, you know? It's and it's just there's always a full moon. Practically every night is a full moon in my town. Or in my world of Nosfero, because it's just got to be the quintessential,
Right.
you know, Halloween. You know, that's what it comes down to, and that's the fun of it. You know, what's up, Jordan Horst? How are you doing? Crisp fall is my fave. Mine too. Yeah, and it's definitely. How do I put it? Is it definitely? It's definitely in New England, England. It's somewhere in the Mid-Atlantic, somewhere between England and New England. You know,
It's out in the ocean.
yeah, out in the ocean somewhere, right? Yeah, because I love New England. Fall. Look at Miss E drawing now. That's right. Look at all that. That someone looks like they're falling right now on your drawing. She's okay. No, no models were hurt in the making of that. Yes, indeed. Let's see. It makes me think of like a proto Earth or far future Earth. Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like when you see Lord of the Rings, and you're like, well, this takes place in some kind of weird alternate England. You know what I mean? These kingdoms that never existed. Mine's just, you know, a little bit more, I would say, 17th century, you know, late 17th century maybe is what I'm thinking. It's tough to say because I've mapped it out a few times, but
Can I
it's...
use a little of your white paint?
Of course you can.
Can I use these brushes or?
Yeah, you can use
I'll
this brush.
use this one. This is a crappy one.
No, those are all brushes you can use,
Okay.
sweetheart. Right there. And here's the titanium white.
Oh, I was just gonna.
Oh yeah, you can use what I have on my palette right there. Absolutely. Me palette as soup palette.
I don't want to mess with your process.
No, my process is pretty much
I'm just kidding. Yes, I do.
Did you hear that? It's abuse.
I do want to mess with your process.
You both are on a roll. Yes, we are. We're on a French roll. Let me see here.
That make me hungry.
I'm starving to order just a pile of bread.
Nope.
Let's rob an Olive Garden.
No.
It makes me think of like for Earth for our future. Good. Let's see here. Both on a roll. Thank you so much. Meltdown 14. Middle Earth. You're absolutely right. Middle Earth is real, says John. You're absolutely right. Put the F back in
So is
Earth.
Star Trek.
Star Trek is absolutely real.
The Enterprise is out there.
It is out there.
It's out there somewhere.
So is the truth, according to X-Files. The truth is out there. You know, just know it, people. Yeah, I love such a lame thing. I say this all the time. I love art.
Yeah, me too.
And by that I mean,
I don't understand what other people do with their time.
but I want to make sure I'm clear. I'm talking about Art T-Bear of Comicsgate. So Art T-Bear,
sorry.
don't you love Art
I
T-Bear
love
too?
Art too.
We love art. See, look at that. Phil Zaid, you know Phil, my man Phil. He says hello, Mrs. E.
Hello.
That's right. See, there you go. Got a hello, Phil. Let's see here. Everything I have is yours, wife, says Shanth. That's right. It's absolutely true. Somewhere between New England and England, classic Hollywood fictional mid-Atlantic accent. You got it. That's what I was referencing. Came from such a place. Yes. Hunch the Dirty Roofer. Carbs are bad. Unhand the scone, sir.
Carbs are life.
Absolutely. And thank you for being a channel member, Hunch. Always appreciated so much. And same to Cranberry Langers. I thought Middle Earth could be real. I thought the Protector was real, not the Enterprise, though. Well, it's all right. The Protector. Oh, Galaxy Quest. Gotcha.
I'm gonna get beamed up one day, and I'll show everybody.
Well, what if it's the Protector that's real? You know, that's right.
Yeah.
You know, and they're watching Star Trek. You never know.
That was a great show.
We need your help. So great.
Oh, I loved it.
Yep, don't be Scully, be a Muller. That's absolutely right. Let's see here. Shanth Enjeti, they're turning the King Frogs gay. Yes, I know. One of the many conspiracies out there. You gotta worry about them frogs. Let's see here. Yes, Dirty Roofer, laugh out loud. Hilarious. I'll show you, says Cranberry Langers. Oh my god, you guys are great. But you know, it's funny because I know a lot of people who were massive Swamp Thing fans. I'm pretty sure Phil's a big Swamp Thing fan, and I know he's a Wrightson fan too. But there's so many people who grew up on those characters. For me, I was a much bigger fan of Bernie Wrightson's Frankenstein, which I think is a work of utter genius. Rest in peace, Bernie Wrightson. But when I started seeing his Swamp Thing stuff, I kind of came at it fresh when I was older, and I've really grown to like love some of the craziness. What's interesting is Bernie Wrightson may very well be one of my favorite werewolf artists too, because he did some dynamite werewolf stuff, man.
That's a bold statement.
That's a bold statement. What is it? No, that's a bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off for him, Cotton.
Yeah, let's see if that pays off for you.
With him, as always, is Pepperbrook. Pep. Cotton!
Does everyone watch Dodgeball?
Everybody needs to watch Dodgeball.
Has everyone seen that movie?
It's the greatest film of all time. I love when he says, when he goes...
No, Burn After Reading is the greatest film
That's
of
true.
all time.
That's true. What is it? A shocking turn of events. I feel shocked. That's the greatest... Man, I will tell you, Jason Bateman was legendary in that flick. Yeah, and apparently he has a great sense of humor, because who was it who was talking about... he was talking to Michael J. Fox at some Parkinson's fundraiser, and Jason Bateman walked up and said hello to both of them. Mm-hmm. And he goes, I didn't know what to say to Jason Bateman. Like, it was a weird thing. You meet Jason Bateman for the first time as I was talking to him. And he goes, I know, you're speechless. Both of the Teen Wolves are with you right now. Because Jason Bateman was in Teen Wolf too. And I thought that is some hilarious stuff, man. Yeah, drawing books, so good, man, says Zaid Comics. Yeah, I love drawing books. They're great. It's been years, but Dodgeball was a classic. Oh, I don't think I'm as dumb as you think that I thought I was. Great lines. Great lines indeed. Let's see. Jason Bateman is great in Bad Words. I haven't seen that, actually.
Oh, I saw that. I mean, I saw the thumbnail for it on Netflix, and I thought I should I watch
John
it.
is saying, speaking of Netflix, Galaxy Quest is on Netflix right now. Hail Aldous on the farm just off Orwell Lane. You know, he's one of our big supporters and an awesome guy. Yeah, love Swampy. Yeah, Swamp Thing is the man. Let's see. Oh, man, Doug Mankey's Swamp Thing. Green Hell should be out. Yeah, absolutely right. I will say this, too. I actually like John J. Muth's Swamp Thing book. It was a little unorthodox, but as a painter, I could appreciate it, man. It's got a great sort of vibe to it. Aldous, it's great to have you with us here tonight, my friend. And thank you for all of your support, brother. I appreciate it. Channel member and kind sir. Let me see here. Mike Plug was no slouch on werewolves. Absolutely. Mike Plug is great. You know whose werewolves I also really love is, oh my gosh, shoot, I can't, Bud Root. Bud Root's werewolves are awesome. I was really excited when I saw those. Really cool stuff. So yeah, if you have not checked out Bud Root stuff, man, whew, that dude is, he's got fire in his hand, man. He does some killer stuff. Let's see, what should I use now? What colors should I use? Here we go. Got orange there. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? Oh, I got an idea.
Oh.
Sometimes it's
don't
not...
keep us in suspense.
Sometimes it's not about a new color. It's about making a new color by mixing two colors together. That is the key. Sometimes I forget that, my love. Sometimes I forget that.
Sometimes, yeah.
So let's see what else we got here. Aldous is saying, greetings at John. Hey at Cranberry Langers. Shanth Enjeti art. There's a comic of Bram Stoker's Dracula done by Robert Napton. I have not seen it. That sounds outstanding, man. I'll have to check it out. Hunch the Dirty Roofer. Because I have to. I do it. Oh, that's right. I don't drink my. Do I drink my own urine? No, I drink it because it's sanitary and I like the taste. God bless you, Rip Torn. Yes, indeed. Michael J. Fox was good in Curb Your Enthusiasm. He's funny, still funny. Yeah, he is awesome. No one makes me bleed my own blood. Nobody, says Hunch the Dirty Roofer. He knows. He knows what it's about. Yo! I actually like the part, this is Blade, this is Laser, this is Blazer. That's my favorite bit, man. Yeah, the Teen Wolf TV show makes me want to find a short drop and a sudden stop. Absolutely. Oh, I know what you mean. Yes, indeed. I knew where you were coming from. I like the Animal Man Swamp Thing crossover. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a character that is outstanding. I think of buying the Family Ties DVD collection. I remember them having some great episodes. They had some great episodes, man. Family Ties started with an oil painting of a family portrait. You can't get much better than that.
Oh, 80s TV.
80s TV was the jam.
Just so good.
It was. It absolutely was. We did not know.
We didn't know how good we had it.
How good we had it. But I think we'll have it that good again. I think that one of the things that that comes out of when you're in one of these 70s hyperinflation insane times is that it doesn't come from the top down. It comes from, the culture, and it comes from, people on the outside. I mean, just the fact that you're seeing some of the reach, that people are getting, when Friday Night Tights and Nerdrotic and all of that stuff went, completely, came on the scene, and the Fandom Menace and all of that stuff, they were kind of the outsiders looking in, and now they're kind of becoming, all of these different places are becoming the center of the conversation. And that's really cool. That's how it usually goes. And, it just shows that, you can't, people know fake when they see it, Ethan, people knew what Ethan was about. He had built a really good fan base, and they stuck by him. And then he built an even bigger new fan base. So, that's the thing that excites me, man. It's like we've got people like Dale Keown who are just kicking ass in CG. We've got so many amazing artists and creators right now, man. It's great. I mean, I'm just texting back and forth with artists all day, and it's great stuff. Always good to be here, not ignoring the chat, trying to get some editing in tonight. Absolutely, Aldous, you work, man. While we're streaming, you feel free to work and do whatever. It's all important, man. It's all important. Hunch Dirty Roofer at HK47. The only good actor in is now on Yellowstone. Yes, indeed, man. Yellowstone's awesome. I liked Family Matters more. We love Family Matters. Love Family Matters. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Steven Urkel. That's right, man. Gotta love it. Steve. You gotta love it. Shanth, have you taken the time to watch Silverado? I have not yet, but I want to. Best Western of the 80s. A true homage to the greats of the 50s. I love Westerns. I don't know if you were here when I mentioned it, but RAZÖRFIST just announced he's going to be doing a Western comic. And he's going to be, I forget when he's launching it or how that whole thing is going, or what the plan is, but I'm staying tuned because I know he is a absolute fan of the Western genre. And he wants to do something in that genre, then I am dying to see it. Because, he's another person who knows how to... Whoops, I'm like painting off frame. He's another person who knows how to swing for the fences.
That's right, I'll carry you.
Carry me, honey. Literally, just pick me up.
Yeah, I'm sure they just want to watch me scribble.
They do want to watch you scribble. That's what it is. That's what it is.
I'm avoiding the hands.
You gotta avoid the hands.
Am I an artist? I'm avoiding the hands.
That's right, that makes you an artist.
Yep.
We avoid the hands. We avoid the hands and the feet sometime. Although I tell you what, gotten much more comfortable with hands and feet doing this stuff lately because
I can't draw them this small.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. I mean that's tough.
I just gotta suggest them. I think.
Yeah, but it's like I have to have my special glasses on these days.
I have my glasses on. No one can see me, but I do have them on.
That's right. That's right. The Mrs. Enjeti face reveal is gonna that's gonna take a couple $100 super chats to make that stuff happen.
Yeah, and also like some warning and a makeover and.
There you go. Yeah, Andrea said the same thing. That was I love that when he asked her to show her thumbs and she was like, "Hell no."
I'll show you my thumbs all day. Here.
There you go.
If you want the face, I'm gonna have to put some makeup on.
In my best Steve Urkel voice, did I do that? I'll do my best. Did I do that? I don't know if I can do it well. Let me see here. Well, if it were feet you were avoiding, we'd have to you call Liefeld. Yeah. Liefeld is definitely avoided those feet from time to time. Did you watch Gavin McInnes episode? I don't think I did. Let me see here.
Yellowstone?
Gavin McInnes. I'm trying to think of...
I feel like you've watched all of it.
Yes. I'm just trying to think of what episode. Well, if the feet... did you... Oh, yeah, did I do that? You guys are hilarious, man. But no, I mean, it's a crazy thing because... I was looking at this book. I got back the Bernie Wrightson Kickstarter. I know that there's a lot of people who are really committed to not only carrying on Bernie Wrightson's legacy, but I'm sure it helps his wife tremendously. The sale of those prints and everything. I know she misses him terribly, of course. But but Bernie Wrightson, they did a Kickstarter of his trading card art, which I hadn't seen. And as much as I love Bernie Wrightson's black and white stuff, I'm also a big fan of his color stuff. And just look at how cool some of this pen and ink and color stuff is. I mean, let me see if I can find... His werewolves are great, of course. Let's see what I could show, man. Jeez, Bernie Wrightson's just, mauling people in this stuff here. But, well, whatever. But, here's one of his werewolves. I mean, you got to give it up to Bernie Wrightson, man. The dude is just an utter legend, left a hell of a legacy. I mean, when you impress Frank Frazetta when you're young, you're probably pretty good. Like, Frank Frazetta traded him a piece of original artwork at a convention. Gavin McGinnis did the urine episode. Oh, yes, of Friday Night Tights. Yeah, that was something. I'm shocked she showed her thumbs. How scandalous. Yes, you're right. We're scandalous here. Gavin McGinnis, yes, I know, in the middle of the show, disrespected the panel and the fans for being nerds. Oh, no, I came down on the same side that Cecil did with that he did that right after Gary explained to him that was what he did full-time and that it was his living, and basically seemed to be cool risking Gary's livelihood. And I'm not a big fan of that. Obviously, I think that's just a utterly crass and thoughtless thing to do, but that's just me. Yeah, not a fan of that. Because, this is the thing, I mean, I know Dave Chappelle says this, and, and it's something that a lot of people say, which is, don't threaten or mess with somebody's money. It's like, that's their livelihood. Yeah. And I just don't understand that, And, Gary has worked very hard to build what he has. I haven't watched that channel as much, because I haven't been able to watch a lot of stuff. I've just been working like crazy and watching a lot of stuff really that they're either CG streams or there's stuff like Grim Life Collective that inspires what I'm doing while I work. But I know that Gary, has been a recovering, drug addict and, alcoholic, and he's had a hell of a road and did some time and has really worked hard to turn things around and has a wonderful family, and his wife, who had a salon, lost her business during the shutdown, and he just keeps working and building. And I just don't like the idea of somebody trying to get his channel or doing something that could risk his livelihood in his channel, because he's worked so hard for the things that he has, and he's gone through a ton for that. And I just, it's not cool. And I would say that about anybody in their channel. You know what I mean? When you're a guest in somebody's house, you don't try to destroy it. That's just ridiculous.
Manners, people.
Manners, people, indeed. Yeah, he also proved himself illiterate. The entirety of fiction is only for children. My rear end. Yeah, that's a weird thing to say. My God. Weird. I think it's funny we were talking about Westerns, and the 22nd was Lois Lemure's birthday. Yeah, that is kind of wild, actually. Kids also watched that. You're right. Yes, he did. Yeah. His premise was disproven, so he reacted childishly. It's crazy. He revealed himself on someone's channel, or he revealed himself on somebody's channel, and the YouTube algorithm missed it, so there's that. Yeah, that's true. Yes, and he also proved himself illiterate. Plus, he faked getting arrested, taken away by the FBI. Gavin McGinnis, disrespect for his own audience. It's a shame. I liked Gavin. Oh, that's rough, man.
Who is that?
I don't know. Gavin McGinnis does a lot of stuff like that. Apparently oh dear, and I can't read that one, but it doesn't shock me. Oh my God. Note to self, watch Gavin on replay. Yeah. That's terrifying stuff there. That's terrifying stuff. Yeah, for me, like I said, it's a very strange thing that when you talk about building stuff, it takes so much time, and I know we talked about this a lot on this channel. It takes so much more time to build stuff than it does to try to tear this stuff down. And I try to surround myself with people who are into building things, and building things can mean, being an actual customer of something. I think about the books I back, but also the stuff that I'm a patron of. Sometimes when I see a movie I like and I'm excited about a movie, sometimes I buy that movie, I buy on Blu-ray and I buy it on YouTube so I can watch it different places. Because there's so much that goes into film, and there's so much stuff that goes into, for all the people below the actors that people don't see, and below the director and the producers. And you just want to support that stuff. I think it's a disgrace that comic book creators who've made some of the icons, cultural icons of our time, are home, lose everything and die completely broke without sufficient medical care. That's no way for us to treat the people who create things that enrich our lives. So I'm always happy when I hear about people like J.K. Rowling and folks like that doing well, financially, because their imaginations have brought us so much. Yeah, be right back. All right, John, I'll see you in a sec, brother. And thank you guys for tuning in while we work on this stuff tonight. Much appreciated. It's always fun to hang out with you guys and do this stuff. And we're so grateful for you guys supporting Nosfero. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful book. I mean, I've got pages I wish I could show you over here, which are the final 2 pages. And the story is it wraps up so nice. And it's, and that's the thing about, too, when you guys look at Nosfero and you look at the books I'm doing, every book of Nosfero is a self-contained story. So you learn more about, characters and things like that. But if you were to only pick up that book, and you knew that Nosfero is the hero and Laurel is, his lady, you would be able to follow the story completely. And that's what's great about it. It's like you don't ever have to think, oh, and now I've got to wait, for the next one. Hopefully you're like, I can't wait for the next one, but it's not because the story isn't complete. And that's something I set out to do really consciously because, I've always liked that idea of what the pulps do. So it was very much like high plot, like I want to introduce people to as much as possible. There we go. This guy's starting to turn into something here. And let's see here. And we'll see where it goes. Yeah, I want to make this character kind of brutish, but I'm trying to figure out how there's just this quality I'm looking for. And it's odd because I've had times where I've gone and I've sculpted things out to figure characters out, you know what I mean? Let's see here. Yeah, I don't like getting FBI to chin up subscriptions. He got called out for that by the faking. I got what you mean. He got called out for that, by the way, and tried to pass it off as a joke when people were concerned. Yes, absolutely right. Yep. I'll get that. Get the next one once the campaign is up. Absolutely. Oh, thank you, Cranberry Langers. I do appreciate that. The stories are fun, man. The stories are going to be, and they're fun and they're exciting, and it's what Jim Steranko said pulp was. It's sexiness, mystery, and danger. That's what the stuff is about at the end of the day. And that's what we're trying to make. We're trying to make stuff that excites people and excites our audience and gets them interested. And I really would love to see, what RAZÖRFIST's doing, even though now he's getting, he's going to be doing some comic stuff. I know he's still going to keep working on Nightfall. But I'd like to see some more authors, like Jay Lee and James Lee, I should say, just so people don't get confused with the comic book artist. But like Jay Lee and people coming in, because pulp is really where it's at, and you can launch incredible stories and worlds in fiction literature. Just look at, again, all the popular works of the 2000s and late 90s, from Harry Potter, to Hunger Games. All of that stuff was launched as books. So that's where it's at. Oh my goodness gracious! Look at us.
I might be done.
I think I might be done too for the night. I gotta stick a fork in me. We usually only go about an hour, but
Has it been an hour?
It's an hour and 24 minutes right now.
All right.
We were getting it done, guys. So thank you guys. Oh, you got a copy for your brother, Cranberry Langers. I appreciate that so much, my friend. He's gonna love Nosfero, and thank you so much, guys. So yeah, so this is what we have been up to tonight. Having a great time, working in front of you guys and just doing this stuff and just sketching and having fun. That is what it's all about, guys. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. Have a great night. Oh no, a super sticker of $1.99 from Cranberry Langers, and it's a thumbs up. Thank you so much, Cranberry Langers. Let me play a cheerleader for you. We almost made it through without cheerleaders. I don't know how we would have lived. Thank you so much, Cranberry Langers. It has been a blast doing this. Have a great night, Aldous. You too. And thank you for being a great supporter, Aldous. Really appreciate you, brother. Channel member and scholar. I'm really looking forward to the Steins. It's great. The Steins are great. I have a copy of the book right over there. It's going to be the best book of the year. Yes, the comic as well. It's going to be great. I think Gabe did some stuff on that too, if I'm not mistaken. So absolutely right, man. It's going to be great. Let's see here. American Comics Company, always in good company when you're in the house. Thank you so much for being here. Hit the like, subscribe, and join the channel to support the Enjeti Art Institute of Liberty. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much, Aldous. So kind of you to say, my friend. Oh my goodness gracious, look at you people. You're going crazy. Hostman Socrates just became a member. We have a new channel member. I'm going to update those credits after the show tonight. So here's a cheerleader for you, my friend. Another channel member, a new channel member. Thank you for becoming a channel member, Hostman Socrates. I will have you in the credits for the very next show. Thank you so much. Sure, good evening, Shanth and Mrs. Enjeti and chat. Thank you so much. So we're going to close out with the credits. Thank you guys so much for being here. Yeah, nice job, Hostman Socrates. Amen. I second that. And we will see you guys soon. Take care. Peace, because that is my name. And as always, stay gold. Bye, everyone. We will see you soon. Take care. And as always, stay gold.